The theme behind this is colonizing Mars, and the students have actually seen one of the commercial space launch facilities in French Guiana. There's actually a company called Mars1.com, and you can go to the site, and it has a timeline for colonizing Mars. And so we decided to take those concepts and roll them together into a series of projects. So first is an autonomous robot that can move around modules that are payloads launched from Earth to Mars. Remote control of these robots to place the modules, searching for items with the robots. We've incorporated a quadcopter, a sort of an aerial drone, to go find where pieces of the Mars module have landed. We've incorporated a building component where students can go ahead and construct a Mars buggy or some sort of vehicle for the colonizers, the settlers of Mars to go ahead and run around in. Behind me you see the 3D printer. That's making rocket fins. So we're fabricating rocket fins out of a plastic called PLA, which is based on, of all things, is based on corn. On the computers, and using a microcontroller called Makey Makey, the students are creating a Mars lander simulator, which they then wire up with a joystick and the microcontroller, and they'll actually be able to control their Mars lander using a joystick. So all these things go together with that theme of space and robotics. And the 5th grade standard that we're pursuing is robotics and the use of robots and autonomous vehicles, in this case space exploration. Think of negative numbers as a position to the right or the left of a line, but it actually means something because your application, your program that you work, when you have your little software sprite move across the screen, if it's moving left, it's moving in a negative direction. I'm dealing with the negative and positive numbers, XY coordinate system. That's not dealt with until later in 6th grade. And they're being exposed to this now as 5th graders in a way that's guaranteed to lock itself in their brains as a concept and has a practical application. They're pretty excited about learning about science and learning about how things work. And once you realize that these things can be made to do what you want, I've heard programming referred to as a superpower. You can make the world change based on how you code it. And these 10-year-old children are figuring that out right now, that if I can think it up and I can rig it up, I can pretty much do what I can imagine to do. The idea that I have a joystick that can't connect to a laptop computer, we rig up the right wires, the microcontroller, and a USB adapter, and suddenly I can control a laptop that's 20 years younger than the joysticks which were made 20 years ago. The pursuit of engineering as a standard within STEM revolves around this idea: is taking some sort of an application of a science concept, law, and then finding the practical applications for that, or a way to simulate that. The controllers are wonderful because they take the lesson of the wire, battery, and a light bulb and turn that on its head. But instead of that, we hook it up to a laptop and a microcontroller, where now closing a circuit sends an instruction to the computer, which is then received by your program, and then your computer responds to that. So in this case, I've taken the simple idea of closing the circuit and extended it to the realm of microcontrollers, which is pretty much, we should be stepping to the 21st century in that respect. But I'm still going back to the basic science concept of you can make electricity work for you. It's just now we're adding a digital component. An underlying goal of this program is also to overcome the problems of the summer learning gap, which is a very well-researched phenomenon, to engage my brain in these kinds of activities which are constructive and require deep thinking. The idea of hard fun is I may be tired at the end of it and I'm wiped out, but boy, it was fun. And so the idea of hard fun, where you're using your brain and coming up with something that really has never been in the world before until you made it the way you made it, that's a unique and powerful accomplishment for anyone, whether they be adult or child.